Hi guys, welcome back to Monday Mojo. I'm your host, Nikki Fogden-Moore. Wherever you're watching this from and whenever you happen to come and join this video series and this blog series, welcome, because it means this was meant for you. So these are not time related or time stamped, even though I might be recording it 31st of August. This is be relevant for you whenever you watch this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so that you get the latest updates as well. And I'm also giving out the Monday Mojo quote cards. These are really beautiful, and they've got 52 quotes from the dictionary, which is my quotes, but also some really amazing ones to keep you motivated, inspired, and they come in a beautiful box. So they're available on my website. Link is below in the description. And also I'll be giving away copies of Adulting, my new book, for all subscribers that join in September. So if you subscribe to the YouTube Vitality Coach TV in September, then you'll be receiving one of my latest copies of Adulting coming out. And a lot of the content that I'm speaking about on the show is very much part of this book, the worksheets as well that you go to when you get your Monday Mojo. If you haven't already signed up for the worksheets and the blogs that go with these weekly sessions, then please do so. Link is below, but it is thevitalitycoach.com.au. So wherever you are, wherever part of the world, whatever time of day it is, welcome, because obviously this message is meant for you. And this is a fourth in the Courage series. If you're listening to the podcast for the show, thank you so much for tuning in to the Mojo Maker show. And you can hear this on Spotify and all podcast channels and iTunes and everything else. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an intro before we get into today's session, where the rubber hits the road, really. And we've spoken about truth. So actually identifying what that is, how to share that, how to create a safe place truly to receive that. And then also what that means once we start having a society and community and companies that operate from the paradigm of truth. It's really liberating, and truth creates freedom. And once you have that truth, you have the ability to start living in courage and curiosity space rather than fear. And I think that's where most of the freedom comes from, is understanding the power of being in the now, which is a very overused term, but a very accurate term. And I want to talk to you about that particular thing with courage, because I think what prevents most people from taking leaps of faith and from starting something or expressing something or becoming something or doing anything is letting go of the walls of comfort, because they don't know what's next. So often when we dare to pioneer, we want to have a difficult conversation, we want to go and do something that's outside of our comfort zone, we get old programming or limiting beliefs that say, well, you know what, we don't even know where that will take us. At least we have the devil that we know. There's an English expression, better the devil you know. And unfortunately, it is the devil to stay stuck. So just like having a big weight, like a kettlebell or a dumbbell or something in your gym, in your home gym, whatever, that you just stare at and you never pick up. If you're just going to stare at your goals, but you're never going to pick them up, then they're going to stay stuck exactly where they are. So in this journey with me, as we adult through the rally of life, I want to give you the very practical tools to navigate yourself from chaos to calm. And this is an extremely important episode today, because I want you to think about, what does it feel like on a cellular level to trust? Not what does the word mean, not what does it look like, not how could you imagine that would end up being, but what does that really feel like on a cellular level to be completely at peace with the decision that you've made? You know, I want you to think about that feeling on a cellular level. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So a couple little things. The road doesn't get easier, you get more agile. So as we go through this program together and you start to adult and realize that leadership is around looking around the corner of the box and not just doing everything you've always done. Hi, Roxy. But it is this point where you have to manage your expectations versus outcomes. And that all comes down to your mental perspective and how you view the world, how you view challenges. And if you know me, you'll know that what I'm trying to do is put you in the driver's seat to be fully accountable and in alignment. So not anxious, but in alignment. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you the ego and the blurts worksheet, which is one of the core foundations of all the coaching I do with my clients, which is column A, What do you really, really, really want out of whatever this people, person, place, situation, or project is, or, just even a general life review that you're going through at the moment. And then column B is the blurts column. So every time you identify what your truth is, or what you're pioneering, or what you really want to be doing, then you write down in the B column the blurts that come up. Now, mostly what people do when they set goals, I don't know if you've watched my Instagram IGTV yesterday and Fogden-Moore. It's also on LinkedIn, and I will put the video on YouTube. I spoke about the no excuses way to make sure that you've got your fitness mojo, because when you are well, you oxygenate your body, which oxygenates your mind. So a moving body is a moving mind. A still body is a stagnant mind. And we don't want stagnation in our minds, because then we're never evolving and growing, and we're always staying stuck between the walls of discomfort. So you have to understand the difference between your core wants and needs here and what you think you should want and need. They're two very, very different things. And if you haven't already listened to the podcast, Your Ego is Not Your Amigo, a lot of my teachings that also link back to wonderful authors such as Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and there's also a beautiful book, The Courage to Be Disliked. So anything that talks about separating ego from self and understanding the union, once you know that voice in your head, and you can start to discern the difference between a programming tone and a purpose tone. So today I want to talk to you about level 4 of courage, which is, what is it like once you've taken the first step, right? You have to let go of that old trapeze line. So most people want to take a leap, but they've still got one hand on the back line of their other trapeze. So you try and trapeze, and you're going to go and you're going to grab that next trapeze, but you've still got your hand on the old trapeze, whether it's a relationship, whether it's project, whether it's finances, whether it's a loan, whether it's, I don't know what it is, a place. You haven't fully let go of the old to grasp the new. And if you don't let go of the old, you'll get stretched and stretched and stretched. And what will happen is you will fall to the bottom. Both of those things will let go. You've got no way of grabbing hold of them again, and you'll fall in a heap. So how do you have the courage to let go of what no longer serves you and grab hold of that new trapeze to grab onto, but you don't know what's in the in-between? So what happens when we take that leap of faith is we actually have a cognitive and cellular reaction that gives us a bit of adrenaline when we suddenly stand up and say yes, no, or I want, and then you actually go after that. It's a bit of what some people call adrenaline. And, you can't live always on adrenaline. So you've got to understand and be at peace with the fact that once you've moved that piece of that knight on your chessboard, that you might have to wait a while before the other move comes in. And that is an area of huge discomfort from people. The same thing as if you're in space and you walk outside the spaceship and you've got this tiny little lifeline, and you look back and you go, well, do I want to go out there? That star looks really bright, but I'm not sure that lifeline that I've got is strong enough to hold on to me to reach that star. And that is a really real feeling of fear. So most people start to open the door up to opportunity. They start to see the light that could shine on them. They start to feel the fantastic results of what pursuing their dreams, their happiness, their love, their heart, their finance, and everything in love and abundance could be. But then as soon as they open the door, they close it again, because the fear of the unknown is far greater than the discomfort of what they know. So how do you shift through discomfort of what you know and take a leap of faith and understand what that will feel like, so that when you're informed about those feelings, you're not afraid of it? That's what today is about. So once you've done your kind of, this is what I'm going to go after, and then you've identified your blurts, you then have to back yourself and realize that once you put one foot out on that yellow brick road, the universe every time rewards someone for taking a leap of faith in their purpose. And I'm not an extremely religious person, but I do think that belief is very crucial. And I want to share with you a very, very old story. I think it's from the Bible. If it's not, if anyone knows, please put comments down below. So I apologize. But basically, there was a guy walking along the beach next to God, and they were walking along, and there were two sets of footprints in the in the sand. And he was walking along, and he said, yeah, I want to do this and that. And then he decides to make a change. And then he gets really angry because he makes this change and he feels like he's all alone, and there's no certainty anymore, and there's nothing to complain about, and there's just this weird silence. And he talks to God. He goes, "You were never there for me. I took this leap of faith. I was courageous, and there was nobody, and I just had to hang around and wait for seeing what would happen. It was horrible. There was only one set of footprints." And God said to the guy, "Well, that was me carrying you." So what happens when we take a leap of faith is often we need someone else or the universe or something else to be the wind beneath our wings. And that's exactly what happens. You will be rewarded, but you have to absolutely have the belief. If you don't have the belief, you'll stay stuck in fear. So the only way to get the belief is to break down your goals and say to yourself, what is the next right thing to do? Not what am I thinking about doing? Not what do I want to do? But what is it that I'm going to do next? One step at a time. And I always say to my clients, you never have to go back and rebuild a rickety house when you go brick by brick and you cement those bricks and you make sure that cement is dry, that foundation is solid, that it matches your future house that you're building, that it is particularly made of quality materials, that you're not rushing anything. And that's what the universe does. When you support yourself by putting quality time, attention, and discipline into your goals, then you'll find with very little effort, you'll exponentially get catapulted to the next step and the next step. And that doors that you thought would never open miraculously just keep opening for you one step at a time. And that really is taking the courage to be fearless in the space between leaping and landing. So let me repeat that again. That is having the courage to be fearless between the space between leaping and landing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where most people forget to train. They forget to train themselves mentally. So I'll give you a surfing analogy. Imagine you're going surfing in one of the biggest waves and you have to build up to that wave. And you know that when you drop into that wave, there's a big drop from the top of the wave to the bottom of the wave. So champion surfers train what happens in that drop from the top of the wave to the bottom of the wave. They don't just wing it. So the same thing for us. When we want to go through and train ourselves into the courageous life of living one on purpose with passion, clarity, and calm, then we have to put the work in to being comfortable with the unknown, to being comfortable with peace, trust, and belief. And that means doing that work daily. That means truly backing yourself. That means knowing your why. That means writing down your blurts. That means doing the worksheets, not just keeping everything up in your head and wishing, but actually treating your life like an athletic program, thinking, am I doing the daily work that commits myself to this goal, to this dream? And am I understanding what it feels like on a cellular level to have that faith? And that is the difference between staying stuck and creating movement. And if you've read some of my blog posts, you will see that I wrote an Einstein quote that said, life is like a bicycle. You have to keep pedaling to keep moving. And you can't just stay still, right? So we need to keep moving. We need to keep pedaling. Now, you can't always backpedal out of fear. You've got to keep going forward. But if you go too fast, you don't have a solid foundation, then you're going to fall in a heap. So all you need to do is get your worksheet out and go, what are the each steps that I need to take? And what are the perceived fears, roadblocks, blurts, and things that are limiting me taking those steps? And then you just do one step at a time. Because there is no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. There is no need to turn your life upside down. There is no need to, I think people feel I have to give up so much. But when you give up something, you have to replace it with something else, So you're not losing anything. You're releasing things that don't serve you. And I think that's really, really important. You're not lacking control. You're surrendering to something that is far greater than you. And anyone watching this show, anyone knows about the law of attraction, manifestation, and you all know it works, right? So we've got to stop being surprised by that and be very conscious of our thoughts, conscious of our cash flow, conscious of our energy levels, conscious of our relationships. And that's really, really important. And I think there's some beautiful work out there at the moment which can give you the tools to do that. But most importantly, keep it simple. If you keep reading extra things and extra tools and you're not actually prepared to use those tools, then all you're going to do is go around in circles and stay exactly where you are. So there's only so much information you can absorb before you actually need to apply it. It's like doing a university degree. You can't get your credits up here until you've completed your credits here. So think of this as your personal MBA, your personal mind-body alignment. Really, really important. That's exactly what we're talking about with adulting. Your personal MBA, mind-body alignment, knowing what trust feels like, knowing what taking a leap of faith does to you, knowing what landing in the comfort zone of good results feels like, embodying that feeling, not being afraid of it, and embracing the rally that is the unknown corners, it's the blind spots, it's the all seasons, it's the unpredictability. That bit you have to harness as something special and not to be afraid of, because when you can see life like that, when you can see leadership like that, when you can see finances with curiosity rather than fear, when you can look at your relationships and realize that it's a safe place to be vulnerable, to be real and be honest, a whole new world opens up. But that only happens when you are prepared to do exactly that for yourself. So take care of your own side of the street first. Do the work on your own vulnerability. Write things down. Don't skip the steps, because winners don't wing it, okay? You need to put your oxygen mask on first. You need to sit down and do these worksheets. Carve out 1% of your day. That's 15 minutes a day. And then you'll never have to look back. But if you keep hoping and you don't actually write the B column down, which is the blurts, then those blurts, those subconscious limiting beliefs, are always going to have power over you, because they sit there quietly in the background doing push-ups until you have a weak moment, and they come in and they're so insidious they can get you with anything. So but when you have a clear why, when you have clarity, when you have conviction, you're immovable, because you know that that is your purpose. And when you have a clear why, you don't have to rationalize it, you don't have to over explain it, and you don't have to be anxious about it, because you're in alignment. So let me say it again. When you have a clear why, you don't have to over rationalize, you don't have to explain yourself, and you don't have to be anxious, because you're in alignment. And being in alignment is quieter. Being in alignment takes less words. Being in alignment gets faster results with less energy. And that's how you discern the difference between what I call and term the programming tonality versus purposonality. So all of this sits inside the toolkit with adulting and the next book as well. And I want to make sure that you use those tools, because when you start to use those tools, look, any good craftsman, you will master your way to effortless success. But you have to be prepared to take your hands off the walls of comfort and take a leap of faith. And courage number 4 means learning to embrace uncertainty, learning to be thrilled by the unknown and to treat that with curiosity, learning that sometimes we just have to do one step at a time. You know, you don't have to go through all 10 trapezes, you just go one at a time, one monkey bar at a time, you know, one wave at a time, whatever it will take. Just do one step at a time, because then you'll have a natural flow, just like water over stone, and you won't have the roadblocks, you won't have the dams that block you, the emotional dams, the highs and lows that will have you retreating back to your corner of comfort and keeping you stuck in the same place you've always been. So if you like this, please leave a comment, or if you've got questions, I'll put all these notes. I usually write my Monday Mojos every week on a Monday when I do my videos, and then I just write them raw and real with all these tips. I put links to the worksheets you can download. You can also hit reply to emails, but most importantly, I want you to know that you have to help yourself, even if that means just asking a question, going, where do I start, Nikki? Even if that means having the curiosity to think, I might just try this one worksheet. I might just do this one thing and see where that leads you, but see that thing through. See that one thing through, see that one step through, put that one milestone in place, and do your 90-day plans, because the road doesn't get easier. You just get more masterful. Like a great craftsman, when you're prepared to put the work in, then you'll get the great results. But if you sit there and just look back and think that everybody else has it made, you're missing your opportunity to create your own destiny. And that's really, in today's time, where everything you thought you wanted and everything you thought you knew is completely turned upside down. But if you're at peace with yourself, that doesn't matter, because you already have everything you need here. and the exponential growth opportunities and quantum side of what lies ahead of us is so exciting that instead you embark on this journey with curiosity rather than fear. And to me, that is the definition of true leadership. To be able to be ready for all conditions in all climates and know that you have access to a toolkit that will always keep you agile, not just resilient, but ready for what comes ahead and really, really enjoying that journey. And I want to just also sign off that, choose where you put your energy right now. Please don't be complacent. And this is the second worksheet I will give you here. This is, a really important part of adulting for me is expectations versus outcomes. And this is really to do with your perspective. Whatever has got you to this point in this journey, so far, you should be really proud of yourself. You should be going, wow, because this is only about evolution. Change does not necessarily mean you have to be a different person, but evolution might say that you have to use different tools. Because if your heart is pure and your intent is great and you've got great values, then you should harness those even more and evolve where they become more prevalent and more relevant to you. And, much like Formula 2 to Formula 1, going that big step requires you to have a high performance brain. It requires you to have a can-do attitude. It requires you to show up for yourself. It requires you to suit up, to step up, to find your pit crew. And I want to provide you with those tools. So next week, I'm going to talk about personal rituals, the law of consistency, and how your habits shape your outcome. But really for this one, for courage number 4, this is really where the rubber hits the road. So I'll put this worksheet on my Monday Mojo, and also the ego and the blurts worksheets will be there for you to download for free. And you can come and join me on Monday Mojo at thevitalitycoach.com.au. Hit the notification bell for YouTube, or if you're listening to this podcast, and please hit subscribe. I would love to have you. And as usual as well, I want to remind you that the Monday Mojo quote card sets are all there online, and I will be giving away for all new subscribers in September a copy of the new book, Adulting, which I'm really, really excited about. So if you've got questions, please reach out. N Fogden-Moore on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Nikki Fogden-Moore, and the Vitality Coach TV on YouTube. You can leave comments at the bottom of the blog post and sign up for free Monday Mojo online. I really, really hope that some of this information today resonated with you, that you can take one piece of information and apply it. And if the only thing you can take away from this is just do one step at a time forward, then that is the best place to start, and know that the universe will have your back. I know it seems like a woo-woo thing to say, but anyone in leadership position knows that where you point your head, your focus, and your ideas, the rest of the body of the business follows. So take this seriously. You are your greatest asset. Where your thoughts go, your energy will expand as well. I hope that I've inspired you today to have the next step in courage, which is embracing the unknown, being able to be out in space with maybe only one lifeline and seeing where that takes you, knowing that you're fully supported, knowing that your why is anchored, and knowing that you'll be given the clarity whenever it is required to take you to that next step. We don't need to know everything. We just need to know that what we're doing is good for us and good for the greater good, and then we'll be taken care of. So remember, guys, this is Monday Mojo. I'm your host, Nikki Fogden-Moore, raw and real, no planned and pre-scripted. I really go off the conversations I have with my clients each week. And next week, I want to talk to you about all those things about rituals and how you can balance your emotional highs and lows, and the ways that I do that to make sure that I can have consistent energy and clarity, not only for myself, but be there for everyone else around me. So enjoy this journey of life. Suit up, come and join me, get a pre-orders of Adulting online at thevitalitycoach.com.au. All the links for this will be in the description blocks below on the Vitality Coach TV, and also on the YouTube channel. Go directly to the blog for iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast. Until next time, thank you so much for listening, joining me. You stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. And remember my coin phrase, you have to be the CEO of your life as well as your business. See you next time, guys.